Hey guys, Chris here again, another video on finasteride and about trusting yourself, trusting your body, trusting that you're making the right decision, being able to get to this point where you can sort of separate yourself from reading stuff online, constantly seeing the research, what the research is saying, what other people are doing, what's working for other people, and know what works best for you. And following the last video, which was really vital on finasteride, talking for me, I said about the side effects and coming off it, and more accepting the hair loss because the minoxidil and the shampoo, all these things, they just somewhat wasn't working for me, or I noticed some change in my body, and something inside me was saying no as well. And that's why I came off it. And obviously people can say, oh no, but this works for me, it's great, and the side effects are only this and that. At the end of the day, if you're having breathing problems, you're having bad side effects, you want to stop the medicine straight away. I mean, that is kind of what it already says in the book. That's the advice that doctors give. But again, this is just a crazy thing that we have to go to the doctor and say, what do I do? Like a child, what do I do? I can't breathe. I've got this. I can't get it up. I've got all these sexual health problems. What do I do? Well, we'll come off it. Here's what he'll say. Or he might lower the dose. But I mean, if you're getting these symptoms, for me, is there's something in it. I know people say, well, we'll reduce the dose. But the overall point I want to get across is that, we don't want to be, projecting out, like, what do we do? Asking people, what do we do? The research, the research says 2%. It doesn't really matter what the research says. It's based on your own, what you're actually feeling, so you can make a decision based on that. And with these things, I was getting negative side effects, and that's why I decided to come off it. And I think, a lot of the comments, people say, well, we can try this instead, that, and try, and then there's also the mindset stuff as well of like, this is, and you're constantly trying stuff over and over again, doesn't feel right. Putting minoxidil on my hair, having the chemicals sort of running down my face, having to sit down for 5 minutes to let it soak in and then apply my hair products or whatever. I just couldn't see myself doing that for the rest of my life. I couldn't see myself taking a tablet every day for the rest of my life. And eventually maybe coming off it, because I think I was seeing that a lot of people do eventually come off it. Maybe they do it, stick at it for a few years. Probably could say that we don't have the data just yet, for long term. But you have to think long term, the derma roller thing that I think people are doing, my friend was telling me about that, and it's just seeing the head, scalp bleeding and stuff. And I just thought, look, I'm sure that can work, but can I see myself doing that for the rest of my life till I'm 50, 60? Is it good? For me, that just doesn't feel right doing that, maybe put myself through physical pain, because it is supposed to be, someone said it's like getting a tattoo on your head. But obviously these are just my opinions. I'm not, everyone watching this, is what's right for you. Experiment on a few things, but the overall point I want to get is trusting yourself, and this is on everything. I've done other videos on like coffee, and people be like, well, I do have a bit, it says it's fine and it's good for this and it's good for that, but it's given me a lot of anxiety. What do I do? Well, you have to make a decision. Do you want to have that side effect? Do you want to have the anxiety? For me to decide to come off that and reduce the anxiety was a good thing, but then everyone's saying it's good, and the study's saying this, and like with alcohol, or if you have a few units a week, it's good for you. You have to listen to yourself. Do you wake up the next day with a really bad headache? Do you wake up, feeling really drained? Is this something good for you and your body? We know it's probably not good, but we think sometimes things in moderation. As you get older, it's harder. We know with the finasteride, people that I've heard of are doing it and getting good, okay side effects, are like early 20s, But, as you get older, I think you're a lot more sensitive, testosterone is low, you're more on top of perhaps your health, you've got more experience. But yeah, again, it's to keep projecting out the research, and sometimes question, are we even being told the truth that it is 2%? If you say, oh, the side effects are only 2%, are you suffering from side effects? Are you, does it not feel right? And then that's where you have to make that decision, because this is something that can affect your health, and it could be easier just to accept the hair loss and move on. So yeah, I wanted to mention that there's been lots of things, like even with the vaccines and things like that, where it was just a case of, they're saying in the beginning it's this and it's got, and then the research just keeps changing all the time. They go, oh no, no, you need to have two, no, this. So my point is that, we're relying on the doctors and people to tell us what's safe and what's not, whereas I think we have to sometimes decide what is safe and what is right. you know if it comes out in the future and says finasteride is perfectly fine now, there was another study done, it was 1%. It's for you to notice in yourself, how does that feel. And that is how I made my decision, as I sort of disconnected from the noise, because there's a lot of marketing now, a lot of companies selling the finasteride, minoxidil, all these different shampoos. It is becoming a lot more mainstream. Obviously, people know they can make money off it, and it is passed as being safe. But you have to check for you, because some people do suffer from the side effects, and have that decision to make on the health. A lot of these drugs, they do affect your health in some way, and you just have to be able to decide, is this right? Does it sit right in your body? And then you can just move past it. So yeah, I want to do that because I think it is just a lot better place to be, where you're in complete control and you're in your power, because we will kind of want to be told what to do. We want someone to give us a decision to make. And I think me doing this video is more or just as important as a doctor doing a video. A doctor might be like, well, I've got hundreds of clients, but are they taking the medicine? Maybe they're not. They've got it's just like with a health coach. You could be doing all the diet and the fitness, and then you've got a doctor who's giving out tablets and saying, at the end of the day, that health coach knows that his diet, and he feels great inside himself. So that's all I'm saying with my side effects, and sort of my decision to call it a day on that particular thing, and just accepting the hair loss. And there could be some holistic things to do to improve the hair, which we can look at, which don't perhaps have any side effects on my health. But for now, I've kind of just leaving it there. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this video again, second time around, and I will see you soon.